Hope you guys are having a happy Tuesday. Hope everything is going well with you guys. Tuesday, it's a beautiful Tuesday out here in California. Hope you guys are done with all of your crazy snow out there. It's been pretty crazy out there. So I've been having a lot of questions about leaky gut. So I was going to just chat with you guys about leaky gut and just take some questions if you had any about autoimmunity and leaky gut. I have a lot of patients that have come in that I've done some reports with today that have mild leaky gut, moderate leaky gut, and then really severe leaky gut. And so I don't know. I'd like to just kind of talk with you guys about that and see if you guys have any questions about that, because leaky gut sounds so weird, doesn't it? It's like, what is this? Like you have some sort of sieve in your gut or something. So, and lots of people talk about it, and I'm not sure that everybody really knows what it is. So oftentimes, if you have, if you're eating, say, foods that are really triggery for you, that are just not digesting well, or you have a really poor digestion, or you are eating gluten and dairy and corn or soy or eggs or something that's causing you to have inflammation in your gut lining, that can long-term cause leaky gut. And that's oftentimes something called like just a simple leaky gut, right? So it's kind of your gut is supposed to be sealed, and it can inflame it and make it swollen, and you can have sort of like something like this happening. It means that when you do a test, occludin and zonulin are high, and oftentimes people come to me with like a GI map or a stool test where they can see some zonulin high. My favorite way to test leaky gut is actually through a company called Cyrex, where they do a blood test, where they really see, is their gut barrier proteins in the bloodstream. So that's more of a gold standard test that I tend to do. There's a second leaky gut that you can test for that's actually caused by overgrowth of bad bacteria in your gut. So that bad bacteria comes in, attaches to the gut wall, and it can create like an opening of the gut lining and can create a lot of like the food proteins are going straight across that gut lining into the bloodstream, and can create a lot of like immune triggers, because there are foods there that shouldn't be there. They weren't invited across. They just kind of came across because of a leaky gut. So my favorite way of testing for that, what we're looking for through this company called Cyrex that I do my leaky gut testing for. So I do that test because I don't like to do the gut test so much. I really like to see what's in the bloodstream. We're looking for occludin and zonulin. That's a little more simple leaky gut. But we're looking secondarily for something called lipopolysaccharides, or LPS. Now, lipopolysaccharides are released by gram-negative bacteria in the gut that are actually adhered to the gut lining. So it can be E. coli or Shiga or Salmonella or C. diff, something crazy. And those bacteria will attach to the gut lining, open up the gut. A severe form of leaky gut when you have high lipopolysaccharides is actually sepsis. So it can get very, very severe. But this is something that I see sometimes with patients who have leaky gut, where it can be the trigger, and they've had years of bloating and distension. They've had overgrowth with SIBO, bad bacteria. They eat food, they get a headache. They feel exhausted. They don't feel good. And when you have a barrier in your body that's not working, and if it's open, you have a problem. There's food and bacteria that should not be getting into the bloodstream that are. So that's something that I test for. I do food intolerance testing, but first I always check to see array 2 in the Cyrex panel to see if you have leaky gut proteins in your bloodstream. I want to look for occludin and zonulin. I want to look for lipopolysaccharides. Now, if you can look up lipopolysaccharides, lipopolysaccharides, and that they're actually in the bloodstream, and it causes a lot of problems. It can cause brain fog and cause depression and anxiety. It can cause joint pain. It can cause a lot of chronic fatigue. So this is a big deal. Jackie Lynn, yes, there's a blood test for leaky gut. And it's by a company called Cyrex, Cyrex. Cyrex Labs is, I believe, the gold standard for leaky gut testing. I don't know any other company that's doing as good of a job of really looking and trying to standardize these proteins, looking for proteins in the bloodstream. They work with an immunologist named Dr. Vijdani There's also Dr. Karazian. There's all these doctors that are working, and they work in the field of immunology to try to understand what is happening with autoimmunity, what's happening with our barriers, what's happening with leaky gut. Is this triggering autoimmunity? Because we have such a surge of autoimmune patients, right? There's so many autoimmune patients. So, and people come to me and they've got gut pain and they've got bloating and they've got discomfort in their gut, right? So, oh, I'm so glad, Emily. Glad you're here. I answer questions, Autumn. Yeah, bring them on. So what I look for is I'll do Cyrex Array 2. Array 2, it costs about $230. And you're looking for two things. I'm looking for occludin and zonulin, which is a simple leaky gut, might just be inflammation, might be, maybe you've had H. pylori that caused low acid. Maybe you're just having reflux or food reactions. That's something that we can find. The occludin zonulin is a little simpler to fix. Then I'm looking for something called lipopolysaccharides. That's LPS. That means that there's a bad bacteria in your gut lining, and it's gram negative. It's adhered to the wall. It's releasing something called lipopolysaccharides. It's like bad stuff, and it goes into our bloodstream. It makes us feel bad. It makes us have chronic fatigue. It makes us have joint pain. It makes us have hives. If you have hives, I'm looking for that. That's what I'm looking for. If you have long COVID, I'm looking for that. That's what I'm doing first. So I'm looking for these lipopolysaccharides. Now, the climb up the mountain to repair a leaky gut that has really high lipopolysaccharides, it takes a long time to fix because you're trying to repair the gut. You're trying to bind up the lipopolysaccharides. We're trying to kill off the bad bacteria without causing a giant flare that disables you, okay? So yes, we need to know what's going on, and we need to do some testing to find out, okay? Because we don't always know, right? Somebody says, Mary says, I have a high ANA 1280. I don't want to take meds anymore. It's affecting my eyes. Probably maybe hydroxychloroquine. What should I take? Okay, Mary, I have created a whole program on this, okay? It's an autoimmune shift program, a bunch of learning videos on what you need to know, blood sugar, virus triggers, vitamin D, glutathione, like leaky gut. How do we manage this? And then there's resources, ways to read your labs, different diets that you can be on. And it comes with an autoimmune support group on Fridays. And so if you want to pop in on that, I can support you and we can learn. You need to learn a bunch of stuff. And it's $50 a month. No entry fee because I have a new group starting on Fridays. My Tuesday group is full. So my Friday group is open. And it's not expensive. There's a link in my bio. It's called the Autoimmune Shift. If you want to know, I have to tell you lots of things. I have to teach you so many things because I don't know your case and I can't give you like a magic bullet because there's not one. But we have to learn together and figure this out. Autumn, positive ANA as of today. Okay. Protein creatinine was 2218, maybe a major copper deficiency, even with infusion. Interesting. Okay. So Autumn, we're going to just talk about the ANA right now. I wonder what does it say a number and a pattern? So here's what we want to think about. We've got ANA positive. We've got a number 1 and something, like Mary's is 1 and 1280, right? It starts at 1 and 80. And then it doubles 1 and 160, 1 and 320, 1 and 640. It goes up. So that just tells us the higher activity level. We take it a little bit more seriously when you have a higher number, but also we're going to overlap it with symptoms and try to figure out what you have. Okay. Sounds like you might have, if you have a copper deficiency, I kind of start thinking about mineral deficiencies and malabsorption. I think about lots of things. So give me more info, Autumn. And I will happy to give you my 2 cents. Let's see, Emily, it's not yet in my system. Have you heard of this and how it starts? Okay. As far as leaky gut, is that what we're talking about? What we want to know is, tell me more about what you're talking about. Are you talking about leaky gut? Tell me more, Emily. Give me more scoop. Wizdora says, why does my ankylosing spondylitis also affect my tendons in my feet and elbows? It hurts. Okay, so we're talking about some systemic joint inflammation, right? We're thinking about like you have ankylosing spondylitis probably in your SI joints or There's different parts of your body that can be affected. So we want to think about, this is an autoimmune condition. So we got to think big picture. Okay. We're going to back up 10 feet and we're going to say, what are your food triggers? Do you know? We got to figure that out. Are you on vitamin D? I'd start on 5,000 IUs and make sure your vitamin D is up at 70, 80, or 90, not 30, 40, 50. Okay. I mean, you could take glutathione. It's very helpful for anti-inflammatory. I have some of my patients with ankylosing spondylitis tend to do like an autoimmune paleo diet, just strip down their diet to kind of basic meats and veggies and kind of see what the triggers are. Sometimes it can be nightshades. Sometimes it can be gluten and dairy. Sometimes it can be soy. The top 5 I see are gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and egg. And then there's nightshades. And then there's lectins, right? There's all sorts of things. And this is kind of like a choose your own adventure, right? We have to figure out what you have. And that's what's tricky about this. This is why I'm making a program for people to go through the videos and understand like, oh, I think it's virus. Oh, I think it was my hormones. Oh, I think I was, really highly stressed or whatever. And then you can take that education and you jump into our autoimmune support group and we talk about it and we figure it out, and you're on Zoom and you can ask questions. Okay. Really easy. I hope you can join in. I'd be happy to have you. We can even think of Wisdora. We can even think about turmeric for you. We can think about fish oils for you. We can think about black seed oil. All those are really strongly anti-inflammatory. Those would be helpful, right? So, but we need a comprehensive plan, right? Okay, let's see. Do you know much about lupus pernio, diagnosed with discoid lupus, Hashimoto's and lupus pernio in 21? Okay, so there's a lot of different little like rabbit holes of lupus. I want you to think about, I don't want you to go in that tiny rabbit hole and think that there's a solution in that tiny rabbit hole with that tiny diagnosis. I want you to back out and I want you to think big picture. I want you to think about, am I sleeping? What are my food triggers? How's my blood sugar? Is it getting too high or too low? How's my vitamin D? You can take some glutathione. It's an immune system modulator. So is it vitamin D? Okay. So we can come up with 1 million different little tiny diagnoses. And it's going to be, let's look at the big picture. What happened to you? When did this start? What started it? Did it start with COVID? Did it start with a vaccine? Did it start? I mean, I have people that got triggered by both. Like, it was a really tricky time, right, for autoimmunity. I mean, let's hear more about what you think triggered it, and then we can figure out more of a solution. Would it help pancreatitis and high cholesterol? Okay, so pancreatitis and high cholesterol. Pancreatitis, we want to think about, like, how's your blood sugar doing? Are you having blood sugar spikes? Are you pre-diabetic? What's happening with your pancreas? I have some of my patients are getting some pancreatitis even from the GLP-1 medications. I mean, what do you have going on, right? High cholesterol, let's think about high cholesterol. First, we want to think about like how your blood sugar is, because sometimes blood sugar spikes and prediabetes drives up the triglycerides, which drives up cholesterol. That's a thing. Sometimes it comes from, gosh, you're eating so many processed foods, but sometimes you just get into menopause and all of a sudden you have really high cholesterol because you're in menopause, right? And that's very, very common. So we want to think about all these different things, like what is the contributing factors here? I do a test called through Boston Heart Labs that is they have a panel that does your cholesterol, looks at all the particle sizes, which is super helpful, but it also tells you if you are a big cholesterol absorber or if you're a big cholesterol producer from your liver. Really interesting, right? So we want to know, because if you're a big absorber, then you can change your diet and lower your cholesterol foods and you can lower your cholesterol. But if you're a big producer of cholesterol from your liver, it's harder to fix. So things to think about. Mary, you're welcome. Thank you. Someone's just being hype gal. Love it. Always negative ANA. Okay, so we can have a negative ANA and still have autoimmunity. Okay, there's a lot of autoimmune conditions that don't have positive ANA, including like ankylosing spondylitis doesn't. So we've got all these different autoimmune conditions, and so we want to think about what happened to the immune system. Why is the immune system attacking us? Like, what happened? What broke down there? Because it doesn't make sense, right? That our immune system's attacking our own body. And especially with ANA markers, that is like our actual DNA in our cells are getting attacked, like the instructions of how to even replicate our cells are being attacked. So it messes a lot of things up. So if you have negative ANA, it doesn't mean you don't have autoimmunity. It just means that you might have like ankylosing spondylitis has a negative ANA, but it clearly is an autoimmune condition. So we have to kind of, there's like a seronegative arthritis and all sorts of things that you can have. Okay. Autumn, you are 1 in 160 speckled. Okay. So speckled can go toward a lot of things. Okay. So speckled can be, it's a little bit vague. It's not super specific yet. And 1 in 160 is a little on the lower end. So we're going to be kind of just like observing. And I wonder what your symptoms are. So speckled gives us, this is like little clues as we go. Okay. We get little crumb trails to kind of like figure out where we're going next. Okay. So speckled often kind of goes, we want to look at an ENA panel on speckled. We want to like make sure you're not going to develop lupus. A lot of times you can have speckled can be a little bit nonspecific. Healthy people can have speckled where it can stay that number forever and it never does anything, right? This is why autoimmunity is so tricky, because there's not like you have this one thing in your lab and you have this specific condition and this is the treatment. It's crazy. So you could have Hashimoto's and have speckled. Have you gotten your thyroid checked? You could do thyroglobulin antibodies and thyroid peroxidase antibodies to make sure that you don't have Hashimoto's. You could have Sjogren's, which is like dry mouth and dry eyes, where everything gets kind of dry. You could move into something called mixed connective tissue syndrome, where the joints are really painful or swollen, and then you are tired. You might have a butterfly rash, which makes us think about lupus a little bit more. So we want to take lab symptoms and we want to overlap them with labs and then symptoms on top of it to kind of figure out like, what do we have here, right? So I hope that helps. Lots of things to consider, right? If you guys are really interested in getting some support, come to my autoimmune support group. It's the cheapest place to come with a mega support. I can give you all the scoop and all the support you need to try to just help you figure this out, right? Because so many of these healthcare practitioners that are specializing in autoimmunity are charging $1,500 just to see them, which is crazy. So I want to make a platform that's really inexpensive that anybody can join. And it becomes like, I mean, the magic is in the group. I mean, seriously, the group of people, there's people I've been with for over a year that have had really good successes that are giving suggestions and advice. I'm there, I'm giving suggestions. We're thinking about different labs you should have run. We're looking at, different options for supplements. I'm sending out links. It's very helpful. So come on over if you want to. Autumn says, history of ITP 10 plus years. So now zinc deficient, bilateral dry eye, trouble swallowing, swollen limbs. Okay, so trouble swallowing is really interesting because then I start thinking about esophageal stuff. I start thinking about, it getting into like dysmotility in your esophagus. You can get some scarring in your esophagus. It's kind of like you have a lot of vague things going on, and it feels like maybe you're not absorbing, maybe you're a little mineral deficient, maybe you have some malabsorption stuff going on, maybe you have some exhaustion and some gut swelling and you're not really absorbing stuff across the wall. I mean, ITP is more like thrombocytopenia. So your immune system is destroying your platelets. So if you have low platelets, it can be autoimmune. I have a gal in my Tuesday group who has had really low platelets, and I've been working with her for over a year. She's changed her diet. We've got her blood sugar under control. We're getting all the junk out. We're getting the supplements in, and her platelets have risen right to below normal. So we're really having good success with one of my other clients here with ITP that's in my other group. So let me know if I can help. Emily says, I'm still in the motions of getting a diagnosis, but my primary doc says I have skin lupus. Okay. So we want to think about, like, there's lots of symptoms you can get on the skin, right? And I wonder if you have like a butterfly rash, or you're really sensitive to the sun, probably, or you get a little bit of a rash. That's definitely possible. So if you have that, I want you to think about some things like, what are foods that could trigger me? I tell you that because I want to make sure that you are getting like the food in your body and you're not triggering your immune system to attack the food and attack you, which is called cross-reactivity. If you eat gluten and dairy, say, and your body doesn't like gluten and dairy, and it's having some, reactions to that, the immune system will attack the gluten or casein, and it'll attack your skin and it'll flare you up. So we can start thinking about things that are like calming your immune system down, but we have to dig for some triggers, right? We want to know what the triggers are. So I wanted, and these are things that you can really, viral infections can drive it more. You get COVID, you get the flu, it can flare you up, right? Because your immune system is on alert, right? As of 2 weeks ago, swollen joints, extreme lymphatic congestion. Okay, so Autumn, yes, we need to have a plan of like what's going on here. Your vitamin D is 25, B12 is borderline low. I feel like you've got, I'm wondering if you have something going on with your gut that you're not absorbing things, or if you have a swollen gut, or if you have a leaky gut, or what do you have going on with your gut? Because that could be kind of where this starts. Andrea says, I have vitiligo and have started retina issues in the past 10 years, no prognosis or treatment. Okay, so we have autoimmunity happening. Your immune system is like, hey, I'm attacking. What do we do about it? We're going to modulate your immune system, right? We got to figure out what the trigger was. Was it a viral trigger? Do you know? I mean, is this something that runs in your family? Did you have a really stressful event? Did you have a baby? Did you have COVID or a vaccine that triggered you, that started all of this, right? That can give us a little clue about where we're going to start. Do you have bloating or SIBO or things like that? So everybody kind of starts this game. It's like a big game. It's a terrible game, but it's a big game. Everyone starts in a different place, right? You can start with food triggers. You can start with the virus. You can start with, hey, this is genetic for me. You can start with like, I had a really high stressful event and it lasted all year. And then I developed autoimmunity. You can say I went into menopause and it triggered. These are different mechanisms that I'm trying to help you understand like where to start, right? Vitamin D always helps. Glutathione always helps. So those are helpful supplements that can kind of modulate your immune system. But we need to know more about like, we can treat this. It's not like we're treating it. We're calming your immune system down. That's the goal, right? The immune system is attacking you. How can we get it to chill? Okay, that's the goal. Okay, Emily says, he said it's not yet in my system, the lupus, not SLE. This is how it starts. Got it. Yes. So you have skin stuff and you don't want to move to kidney stuff and other tissue things. So this is a window of time that I want to fill your head. I want to open up your head and dump all the information I have and dump it in your head so that you can go, oh, I know how to eat differently. I know how to keep my blood sugar stable. I know how to make sure I'm sleeping. I'm going to take these supplements to calm my immune system down. I'm going to be walking. I'm going to fix my blood work to make sure it looks optimal. This is all the things we want to do. There's lots of ways out of this. The difficult part about this, and this is why I'm specializing this, is because it's complicated. And I'm trying to get everyone to understand that this is not like I'm going to send you a recipe and you're going to make a stew and it's great. That's not how it works. It's like one person has this one thing, this other person has this other thing. It gets complicated. So hang in there, and I'm happy to give you lots and lots of data if you want it. Come on over. Like this is what I'm doing with. I see patients half the time. I'm online the other half of the time, and I'm specializing in autoimmunity because you guys need the help. And I have an autoimmune marker too. So does my daughter. So this is where it started. I'm like, listen, she has an autoimmune marker that can go to a lupus, and I'm like, no, we're going to back this up. This is how. So I've just gone through all the functional medicine training to learn and know exactly what I'm doing on that. So somebody else has discoid lupus, only hair loss and no other symptoms. What should I use? So we want to think about big picture, right? We want to think, oh yeah, Emily, no worries about your last message. Just send them on. It gets chaotic in here, so I just kind of jump around. So we want to think about what is driving this. Are you eating gluten and dairy and having issues? Do you know? Do you have leaky gut? Do you have gut symptoms? Do you know? Almost everybody who has an autoimmune condition has issues with gluten and dairy. It's terrible. It's awful. And you should probably get off of it because it's probably not helping you. And also, if you are like, I'm motivated, I'm going to do anything, right? Get on an autoimmune paleo diet. And that really restricts you down to like meats and veggies. You're off of nightshades, you're off of grains, you're off of dairy, eggs, nut seeds, whatever. You just kind of get really simple for a few weeks. And then you slowly bring back foods. You bring back some peppers and some tomatoes, and you see some eggplant. You're like, am I okay with nightshades? Great, no problem, good. Bring back the nuts and seeds. How do I feel? So as you kind of eliminate and then provocate, right? You're bringing the foods back in and you're watching your symptoms. You're watching your joint pain. You're watching your rashes. You're watching your exhaustion. If you feel better, that's the answer. We want to kind of go, good, get that food out. Don't let it come back in. Let's keep going, okay? I have a whole list of all these foods and protocols, and we do this in my autoimmune shift program. So if you want to jump in there, I'm happy to pop you in there. Okay. So if we're everybody's like talking a lot about discoid lupus. It's like in the skin. You're going to get, it can be in the hair, right? You can really like, it can be in your ear. It can, you can lose hair, and it's really like kind of limited into the skin, and you want it to stay in the skin and not move into systemic lupus. Okay. So if it's there, let's manage it. Let's figure this out. So you might have an ANA that's negative. Okay. But you still have an immune system that's attacking your skin. Okay. Oftentimes these patients, they don't do well with gluten. It's a big deal. I look at their panel I have a gluten panel that I run through Cyrex that's really detailed on gluten, that tells you exactly what's going on with gluten. There's a marker called transglutaminase 3 that usually is high with discoid lupus because the immune system is like attacking gluten and it's attacking your own skin. It can also drive eczema. There's other drivers. So I'm not saying only, I'm saying and. There's lots of different things, but I'm just tossing out things that are popping in my head. Best supplements for retina health. I mean, all your antioxidants. You've got vitamin A, you've got vitamin D, you've got all the different sort of flavonoids, all the like what do they say? Lutein and zea something. Anyway, all these are like antioxidants and flavonoids. Bilberry, blueberry, pomegranate juice, and all the things. Like all of those dark purple red berries are really helpful. Quercetin. There's some pretty good eye combo supplements that are pretty good out there that I can send you a link to if you want one. Okay, Mama B says, I've been diagnosed with RA, Crohn's, fibromyalgia, celiac disease, been years trying to fight these. Okay, we got to figure out food for you. Rheumatoid arthritis has a lot of food reactions. Crohn's has a lot of food reactions. So, and of course, celiac has gluten. So there's other foods that are probably triggering you that we should get to the bottom of and figure out how are we going to support you. Okay. How are we going to get this to calm down? Also, we got to get your immune system to chill out. We got to give you some glutathione. We got to get you on vitamin D. We've got to get you calming your immune system down. So these are all things we can do. They're not hard. Okay. Oh, after a pregnancy and had mono. Oh man, what a double whammy. Mono and pregnancy. Holy moly. So mono is Epstein-Barr, right? EBV. You guys probably heard of that. So that is a virus that comes in and it literally hangs out in our body forever. And it hangs out and waits for you to get run down, and it can reactivate. It can drive all sorts of things. They're saying, Stanford did this really interesting study, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, that's saying that the people have lupus have a higher concentration of EBV in their T cells and B cells. So yeah, maybe it is the original trigger, right, for lupus. If you have the susceptibility to get lupus, it can trigger you. So there's a lot of discussions around, like, should we be developing a mono vaccine for people before they get into their teenagehood, before they get mono? I mean, listen, I wouldn't say no, because mono is a huge trigger. And once that you have, 95% of people have had it. We all have had it. Noel, okay. PCOS, insulin resistance, reactive hypoglycemia. Okay, so let's talk about that. So when your blood sugar is too high and too low, and too high and too low, it drives inflammation, okay? It drives up insulin. It makes us gain belly fat. It makes our hormones kind of wacky, but it also destabilizes your immune system. So your immune system's like, whoa, I'm swinging high, whoa, I'm swinging low. I don't have consistent fuel. It can drive your immune system to be more active if you have autoimmune conditions. So that's something that we can work on, Noel. That's something that we can shift, we can change. I would think about getting like one of those Stello or Lingo blood sugar monitors. Those guys are great because you can it goes on an app on your phone and you can really see where your blood sugar is and how you react to meals so that you can understand like, oh, what is spiking me anyway? How do I get this under control? Because you can change it. You can back it up and not have all these things. So, because I don't want you to get diabetes either. Not fun. Okay. Does nuclear dense fine speckled pattern argue against autoimmune? Yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it? So nuclear dense fine speckled, DFS, that one is a pattern that doesn't always go toward an autoimmune disease. It means your immune system is a little bit unsteady, unstable. Something's happening. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means that something has upset your immune system, right? So it can move. It can also change. So you could have dense fine speckled forever, and then all of a sudden it moves to speckled. All of a sudden it moves to homogeneous. You can change patterns. So once that your immune system is kind of like bugged and a little unsteady, it can move to something different. So I would take that as a warning shot and say, what do I need to get my immune system under control, right? I got to fix my blood sugar. We got to get you on glutathione, get you on vitamin D. Do you have leaky gut? This is why I put this in like all these different videos so you guys can watch all these videos and then get really educated about everything about autoimmunity. And then we pop you into my autoimmune support group and then we sort it out. And you have links that you can order supplements, and I give people discounts on their supplements so you can get really good supplements for cheap. So it's a great investment for you. If you have autoimmunity, what do you need to do next? You need some guidance. It's chaotic. I have a hard time managing some patients, and this is what I do every day. So you're probably going to have a hard time too. And your poor medical doctor is like, I don't know. I don't specialize in this. Maybe they're a rheumatologist and they just really do medications and they're not working with functional medicine strategies that you can braid in to make it better, right? That's what my job is, to kind of braid stuff in and make it work better, right? Optimize your health, figure out root causes, but like work with your medical doctor to also, a lot of my patients are on medication and they're on vitamin D and glutathione, and they have to change their diet, and they have to fix their blood sugar, and they have to fix their leaky gut. Like it's a journey. Like get on the journey. Come on over, get on the journey with me. I can help you get there. You just have to know, you have to have some guidance. This is so hard, guys. It's really challenging. Autoimmunity is the hardest. That's why I chose it. I was like, nobody is giving good advice here. Or they're saying, it's all leaky gut. It's not. It's for some people, but not everybody. Anytime you hear an influencer who's like, everybody needs blah, blah, and it's just this, it's not that simple. The immune system is complicated. So, and I do not pretend that I know everything because I don't, but I'm just trying to put some treatments in action for you guys. Donna has myasthenia gravis and COPD. So myasthenia gravis is, I wonder, did you get that from like a vaccine or something? Or did you get a virus and that happened? It means that some of the nerves kind of just aren't functioning properly and you have sort of an asymmetry of the nerves now. Sometimes it happens with the eyes, sometimes it happens with the face. And COPD. So COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So you wind up having a lot of fluid around the heart, fluid in the ankles. So it's like trying to figure out how to get that fluid moving. Your heart is having a little bit of a struggle. I'm glad you're on here, Donna. Let's see if you can get some ideas to try to shift some of this stuff. Do people with autoimmune disease, do they get edema around the heart? Sometimes lupus. What would be another one? Scleroderma really wouldn't do that. I bet lupus is probably the one that would do that. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of causes for that, though. Would Plaquenil help with discoid lupus? It could. Yeah, it could. I don't know if that's something that's their first line of defense. But it could be something you want to talk to your rheumatologist about. Could we calm this down, right? You could also move toward black seed oil is a really nice anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is a nice anti-inflammatory. I'd love to see your blood work and see what your blood work looks like. What I do is I run a big panel blood work on everybody, and then we just look at it and decide like what's out of range. There's usually a theme to people's blood work. This person has too high blood sugar. This person has high and low blood sugar. This person has a ton of inflammation with autoimmune markers and their vitamin D sucks. Or this person's got bad SIBO overgrowth and they've got leaky gut. So it's kind of like we have to fix whatever's in front of us. We have to normalize the blood work and then make some small shifts to your habits to try to change your immune system over time. It takes a while. It's a longer commitment, but it's okay. We have time. I'm here. Just coming in, my hubby has RA. Okay, so rheumatoid arthritis is almost always triggered by gluten and dairy and nightshades, which is interesting. So he could always do like a food intolerance test to see what he's reacting to, or if he'd be willing to just do meats and veggies for a little while and then slowly bring foods in. It's called the autoimmune paleo diet. I run that in my group. We tend to, like, a group of them will do an autoimmune paleo diet and reintroduce some foods and see what works and what triggers, right? Because if he's got joint pain and he gets on an autoimmune paleo diet and then eats tomatoes and then his joints hurt, that's an answer. Then you just take the nightshades out and go, okay, what about nuts and seeds? What about eggs? What about, and then you put foods in and see how you feel, okay? Sarah says, went from 160 nuclear homogeneous to 180 nuclear densifying speckled in 6 weeks. Well done, Sarah. That's a big improvement. And my question is, why? What happened? Did you have a virus and it went away, or did you add vitamin D, or did you sleep more? Did you change your diet? Something happened. It went from a more aggressive pattern to a less aggressive pattern, and it dropped. So you want to you can bring these numbers down. I often can't get them to go negative. I've had a handful of people that have gone negative, which is awesome, but I don't really put that out as a goal, because if the immune system's on, it's on, and we kind of use a little volume knob to turn it down, right? There's a lot of strategies to turn it down. Can you have Hashimoto's and Graves' autoimmune? Yes, you can. So your immune system with Hashimoto's or Graves' is attacking your thyroid, same target tissue. And when it's Hashimoto's, it kind of breaks down the tissue and makes it less functional over time. With Graves', it drives it to release a lot of thyroid T4 hormone, and then your thyroid goes crazy. So you can have hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, hyperthyroid, hypothyroid. It's almost going in a death spiral, because it's like, I am releasing a lot of hormone and now I don't have enough, and I'm releasing a ton and I don't have enough. So I feel like you have to just kind of really monitor that. But with Hashimoto's and Graves', we want to think about different things. We want to think about, you should be on some selenium, 200 micrograms a day. You can get a capsule of selenium. You can get 2 Brazil nuts a day. Brazil nuts, those weird big nuts that are in the big nut mix that no one eats. Those are Brazil nuts, and they have selenium in them. You can have a couple a day. That helps to calm down the thyroid peroxidase, or like the release of the destruction of the thyroid. All that thyroid peroxidase can actually attach to the midline cerebellum in your brain and make you feel dizzy and make you feel anxious and make you feel weird in crowds. Something that's weird with Hashimoto's. So that's something you need to get on vitamin D. We should probably get you off of gluten and dairy. And you should probably look at other foods that might be triggering you, because there's almost always a food trigger there. Oftentimes, Hashimoto's and Graves' can be triggered by H. pylori in your stomach. It can be triggered by another virus, like it can be EBV, like mono, that can trigger it. Will Rogaine on a woman cause you to grow hair on your face? I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I try to know all the things, but I don't know. Can I help someone who has ulcerative colitis? Sure. They usually have leaky gut. I usually will run a gut panel on them to see how much damage is in their gut lining. And then we have to do food triggers. We really have to figure out what foods are triggering them. Maybe put them on an autoimmune paleo diet and just figure out what's triggering. And then a lot of repair things. Glutamine and aloe vera and deglycerized licorice and slippery elm and marshmallow root, all that stuff that's like soothy to try to heal it. And then really work on short-chain fatty acids to try to seal up their gut lining a little bit. So absolutely, I can help with that. It's an autoimmune condition for sure. Yeah. What does high alkaline phosphatase and high sedimentation Westgren mean? My MD says no big deal. Okay. So alkaline phosphatase is a marker that tells us if we are building our bones and our muscles or breaking down our bones and muscles. So let's say you're 17 years old and you're growing your body and you're building muscle. Your alkaline phosphatase is going to be high because you are building your body and you're breaking down your body and you're building things and maybe you're doing weights and maybe you're getting stronger. That can be high. Alkaline phosphatase that's really, really low can mean that you really, it can be really like that you're just not, maybe you need more bone density. Maybe you need to work out more. Maybe we need to get you working out and getting stronger, right? Because you might be like breaking down your body a little bit more. I mean, I feel like alkaline phosphatase is just a funny number. It's hard. It's like, what does this mean? What should we do, right? It just tells us how well our body is doing that way. High sedimentation rate, that's an ESR. That is inflammation, my friend. So what the heck is your GP saying no big deal about ESR being high? That's high. So that's a problem. They're probably like, I don't know, a lot of people are high. That's something they're just kind of soaked in. Like, what are they going to do, right? So it really takes a bit of investigation to figure out why. Why is your inflammation marker high? What's happening? What are the symptoms that overlap with this, right? Do you have bloating? Do you have leaky gut? Do you have reflux? Do you just have joint pain? Do you feel like you get joint pain after you eat sugary foods and your blood sugar is too high? Do you have prediabetes? That'll drive your ESR high. High blood sugar drives your ESR high and your CRP high. Okay. Okay, what else? My mom was just diagnosed with diffuse systemic scleroderma and she has lupus. I'm so scared. Okay. Do you have any autoimmune markers, Ms. Smith? Have you been tested yet? Because this tends to go down the female side. Okay, so it's an X-linked trait. They figured this out with like the Nobel Science Prize this past year, is that there's a genome, there's part of your genome that actually is the brakes on your immune system. It calms the immune system down. It's called FOXP3. And that is on the X gene. So let's say if you're a woman, you have two X's, right? So you have 2 times the chance to have this gene. And if you have this gene, it means that your immune system can go a little out of control and there's no brakes. So this is why it goes down the female side. It goes on the X-linked thing. Now it can be men are XY, right? So it can be in a man, it's just less common, right? It's about 80% of people with autoimmunity are women. So, we want you to get checked, Ms. Smith. We want to do an ANA screen. I want you to check for Hashimoto's. I want you to check for rheumatoid arthritis. If you can get your practitioner to run those things, great. If you cannot, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to send you a link through Quest Cash Labs. It's not expensive. It's easy to do through a portal. It's not hard. Quest is making it really easy for us to do expensive labs inexpensively, which is cool. So we need to know what's happening for you. Also, your mom needs to be on vitamin D like it's her job. Like she needs to be on vitamin D to get her vitamin D up to 70, 80, or 90. She should be on glutathione. She needs some support. If she wants to dive into this, if she's compliant and willing to change her diet and do some things, I'm happy to help. It's not an easy journey through this journey. It's like a battlefield, right? You're like, these are the things that are going wrong in my body and I have to change some stuff. So if you're willing to change, I can absolutely help you get better. We just have to it's like a guide through a crazy forest of crazy snakes popping out at you. It's really wild, but it's hard to change things. Some moms, some older patients of mine are like, listen, if you're going to make me get off gluten and dairy, I'm out. Okay. You don't have to do it. How about just take vitamin D, right? What would she be compliant to do? That's a question, right? And I feel like it's good for us to check that out on you. Noelle, you have a Libre 3. Good. Okay, so here's what I'm going to give you guys a quick blood sugar talk, okay? I wish you guys were in Santa Cruz because I'm giving a really good talk this weekend, but not everybody's in Santa Cruz. Okay, so blood sugar. I want you to think about your stomach like it's a bowl. And I want you to eat veggies first. I want you to add meats and fats, meats, avocado, olives, olive oil, whatever. And then if you're going to do carbs, I want you to do them last. And don't do carbs alone. Because what's happening, you're making like a giant bean dip, right? Where the bad stuff's on the top. So then it's going to slow down the absorption of all that stuff. It's going to slow down the carb absorption. But if you flip it and you eat the carbs first, your blood sugar is going to spike and you're going to keep having a problem. So we want to think about with that Libre 3, I want you to be like rolling in the middle. I want you to be hanging out at 85, 95. I want you to be, if you roll up to 125 or 130, I want you to be popping it back down to below 100. And I want you to work with more protein than you think you need to eat. And I want you to eat more veggies than you're eating currently. And I want you to slow down on the carbs. If you feel like you can't and you've got a lot of food noise, that would be something to consider a GLP-1, tirzepatide, something like that, to reduce your hunger so we can reduce your carbs and your sugar. Because your high sugar spikes are definitely driving autoimmunity. It just does. None of us get to eat free carbs alone. It's such a bummer, isn't it? Yes, and maybe, Harleen, black widow might help with discoid lupus. Maybe. Ask your doctor and see what they think. I also think you should get on some glutathione, and I think you should be on vitamin D. And I think you should figure out what's happening with your diet, like what foods are triggering you, because there's foods that are probably triggering you, that are making you bloated, that are making you tired, that are making your skin flare up, okay? Okay, so lots of things to consider. LDN has helped my RA tremendously. I love this comment. Thank you, Jen, for coming in and commenting about that. Low dose naltrexone is really amazing for some people. So it's kind of hit and miss. If I have 100 people on low dose naltrexone, 50 of them are going to feel better. 50 of them aren't. So it's kind of tricky, right? It's something to try. Low dose naltrexone, LDN. And it's an immune system modulator. It helps to calm the immune system down. Spectacular. Okay, major grind. I was diagnosed with lupus. My joints and hands are swollen. Any suggestion? Yes. Okay, I want you to, would you be willing to get on an autoimmune paleo diet for 3 weeks? It's called AIP. It's just meats and vegetables. It's kind of boring, but if you did that for even 2 or 3 weeks, then, and see how your hands feel. If your joints feel better, then you want to think about, okay, now I'm going to add nightshades back in and see how my joints feel. I'm going to add nuts and seeds back, see how my joints feel. I'm going to add some more grains in, see how my joints feel. And what you'll find out, this is like a very interesting adventure. You'll feel like, oh my gosh, I put tomatoes in and now my joints are swollen. You got to take tomatoes out. They're a trigger. So this is like, do it as you can and see if it helps. That would be one suggestion. The other thing would be get on vitamin D, 5,000 IUs, get on glutathione. Glutathione is an antioxidant in our body. And if we can raise it a little more, it's an immune system modulator and it protects our tissue from attack and it calms the immune system down. So it's kind of a double whammy amazingness. As you hear, if you hear me, you'll hear me talk about gluten and dairy and glutathione and vitamin D. Like, listen, those are my soapboxes, I'll tell you, because it's what I see the biggest changes from. If you've been tested for allergies and were negative for everything, does the food still play into? Yes. So traditional allergists run an IgE panel. That's our true blue allergy. That's like, I eat strawberries and my throat's closed, or my peanuts, or, something that's really like, it gives me migraines because I eat fish, cod, or something like that, right? It's more anaphylactic. It's more aggressive. Your throat can close. Now, or you get hives or something like that. So that's IgE. Now, the other way to test food intolerances are IgA and IgG. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out if you have IgG responses to tomatoes, then you're driving your immune system up every time you eat tomatoes, okay? And it makes your immune system more active. It can cause this more of attack. There's also foods like gluten and dairy. The gluten and the casein of dairy, those proteins are so molecularly similar to some of the tissue of our body that if the immune system doesn't like gluten and dairy and you're eating it, it can turn and make the attack happen on you too. This is all stuff you just need to know. So yeah, big deal. PCOS, are there supplements that would help? Yes. First of all, get a blood sugar monitor. Let's Lingo, Stello, someone in here has a Libre 3. Let's do those. Stello and Lingo don't need a prescription. You just need to get on their website and order it. Get a couple of them. Pop it on the back of your arm. It links to your phone. It's a little filament. It's not a needle. And you really see where your blood sugar is and what is spiking your blood sugar. So that's the number one step, right? You got to shift your diet, add more protein, add more veggies, cut down the carbs, change the order in which you're eating. Veggies first, carbs last, proteins in the middle, okay? And then you want to watch that blood sugar monitor. Then, once you're done with that, inositol can be very helpful in sensitizing your tissues for getting over insulin resistance. Also, berberine is a really good idea. So berberine, alpha lipoic acid, rose hips, those are all things that kind of sensitize the tissues to better insulin receptivity. But you have to get your blood sugar down. You know what also helps? Fasting. Just fasting. It helps get your blood sugar down too, if you're not afraid of fasting. Psoriatic arthritis. Sorry, I just lost this one. Shoot, sorry. Oh, Shireen, yes. Can you give me a DM me on TikTok and tell me you want a Cash Labs link, and I can send you the link. Tell me what you want to have run. I can run whatever you want. Let me just tell you that right now, that if you want to run a bunch of things, like toss out a huge net, all the autoimmune markers, lipid panel, inflammation markers, you name it, we could run it. It's like $250. It's not expensive. If you run this through insurance, your copay is going to be $250, right? So it's not inexpensive. If you want to run labs, DM me and tell me your name and your email, and I'll probably just send you an email and say, hey, what would you like? And we can have a dialogue. Tell me that. So, okay, hang on. Sorry, I kind of lost myself here. I just yeah. Psoriatic arthritis with myalgia, encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue, vitamin D, K2, and on Cimzia diet. Okay. You're autoimmune. Okay. So I'm putting you in the autoimmune category, which means that you probably have issues with gluten and dairy. You might have issues with gluten, dairy, corn, soy, egg. Those are the top 5. There's others, but we also, with myalgic encephalomyelitis and chronic fatigue, I always run a leaky gut panel, always, because you often have leaky gut. And if that's happening and your gut is not completely sealed, then your food proteins are just going willy-nilly through the gut and straight into the bloodstream and creating chaos with your immune system. So if that's happening, we need to fix that. Okay. So I would start there and check and see if your gut is not sealed. We would seal it first. And then we work on, the vitamin D, D3, K2, awesome. Glutathione for sure. Glutathione, liposomal glutathione. I love one from Apex called trisomal glutathione. Trisomal. Let's see, who else has one? Quicksilver has a good liquid one. Designs for Health has a good liquid one. Symbiotica has a decent one. If you want a link, it's harder to absorb glutathione in capsules. It's kind of a waste of time, actually. It's a waste of money, and they're expensive. So I would do liquid because you're going to get a better bang for your buck. If you want a link, let me know. I can just send one to you from FullScript. That's not hard. So but all I need is your first and last name and your email. Just put it in my DMs and I can send it to you. Also, any suggestions for my daughter with POTS? Okay. Did she get POTS from a head injury, or did she get POTS from COVID? Did she get POTS from being hypermobile? Does she have hypermobility in her wrists and her arms and her legs and her hips and her back? It's definitely a low blood pressure situation. So you want to add salt all day with electrolytes. Salt on everything. Get her blood pressure up. You can also do licorice root capsules, which can help get the blood pressure up. I would do those too. But it's different if she had a head injury versus if she had it from COVID versus if she's hypermobile. If she's hypermobile, does she also get hives? So hypermobile people have a loosely woven tissue. It's not tight like normal. It's kind of loose. So it can be more flexible and you can have more hives coming up. The mast cells live under there and you can scratch them and you can get this big redness and it is kind of crazy. So yeah, but it's something that's part of EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Okay. So Miss Smith, if you want to reach out to me, if your mom wants to reach out to me, I do one-on-one consultations. There's a link in my link tree. Just go to my bio and touch the link tree. The Autoimmune Shift program, which is for autoimmunity, which she could absolutely join and learn so much. But I'd probably want to do some labs on her and probably have a couple of one-to-ones on her just to kind of make sure we normalize her labs and understand what's going on. And then make sure that you don't have autoimmune markers too, because you might. So, and we need to figure this out, okay? Because time is of the essence. We got to figure this out. Okay, waiting to see a room. Jessica, you have 1 in 1280, ANA, extremely tired, can sleep all day, night and day, joint pain, brain fog, weight gain. Okay. Okay, Jessica, so we've got to figure you out. I wonder what your trigger was, Jessica. Did this start after COVID? Did this start after a stressful event? Did it start after you had a baby? Are you menopause? You know, do you have diabetes? Like, what are the cofactors here? What drove this? Because this gives me an idea about where to start with you. I'd say get on glutathione 100%. Be on vitamin D. Get your vitamin D up to 70, 80, 90. You don't want your vitamin D to be 30. If your vitamin D is too low and you're taking vitamin D, A, you're not taking enough, or B, you need to be on a liquid because the liquid absorbs easier and faster. And also, remember, vitamin A, D, E, and K are all fat-soluble vitamins. So how's your gallbladder? How are you digesting fat? Are you not digesting fat well? That's a cofactor, right? Do you not have a gallbladder? So Jessica, let me know what you think this came from. But also, if you want some support of a very supportive support group, come on over. It's not expensive. You have videos, you have resources, you have me on Fridays. We can help you figure it out. This is why I made it, because I want it to be open to everybody. Ms. Smith, you have Hashimoto's and celiac disease. Okay. So that is, you definitely have issues with gluten. But the question is, do you have other issues with other foods that are molecularly similar to gluten? Those foods are, let me make sure I have the whole list because I'm going to look it up really quick because I always leave one out. It's array 4 in the Cyrex panels. And hold on a second. So it's gliadin cross-reactive foods. So you can't do gluten, but you might also have foods that are issues like dairy, yeast, oats, millet, rice, and corn. Those foods are so molecularly similar to gluten, they're like first cousins. And so you can react to gluten and react to corn. And if you eat corn, it acts like gluten and it drives this whole problem with inflammation in your gut lining. So we want to get to the bottom of that. Hashimoto's, you need to be on vitamin D. You got to be on selenium. Okay. And we got to figure out what your food triggers are. So we could dig into that. Okay. Chilblains and petechia, is this a sign that lupus is getting worse or a sign of a flare? Interesting, right? It could be just a flare, right? You could be getting, because really so much of lupus shows up on the skin, right? So we want to think about what happened before you had that flare. Are you not getting enough sleep? Is your blood sugar getting too high? Did you have the flu or a cold? We need to give you some vitamin D and some glutathione to calm that down. Also, like what flares you? Do you know? I mean, this is what we're trying to figure out. What flares you, right? Okay. So yes. So, all right. So Miss Smith, so your mom is the one that has a systemic sclerosis and stuff, and you have the Hashimoto's and celiac. So this definitely runs in your family. So I would be happy to talk to you both. I'd be happy to help you figure this out. I mean, we got to figure out what we're going to do, right? We can't just sit back and let her fall apart. Like, that's not a choice. We got to figure out what we can do with functional medicine to shift things. We've got to get her on more protein. We've got to make sure her digestion is good. Got to get her on vitamin D. We have to get her on some glutathione. We have to do some things, some basics, and then we can work from there. Okay. I don't have insurance. I know I need to do more than just see a rheumatologist. Okay. So yeah, this is tough without insurance, right? Because listen, it's all so freaking expensive. So if you know what you have, amazing. If you don't know what you have and you want to run some labs, or if you want to run a big bunch of labs to try to figure out, okay, we need to normalize and optimize all your lab work. That's not hard to do. I mean, that lab work is like $250 to run on everything. If you want to run everything in the world, listen, I don't even know how to run more than that. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So that would be something you could do that's not expensive. It's through Quest Cash Labs. Send me a DM if you would like to have with your name and your email. If you want to have lab links, I can do that for you. That's not hard. Okay, so SCD diet for AS has helped me. I didn't think I could ever do the SCD diet, but I did. Good job. These diets are hard, right? It's really, we're pretty committed to our foods. And it's really hard to kind of like go, I'm just going to get rid of gluten and dairy or something like that. So this is a specific carbohydrate diet, right? It's supposed to be reducing like gas and bloating and such. And it really you can eat lots of proteins and some vegetables. It's like really trying to get rid of like the foods that are making you bloated and your gut inflamed. But then you kind of go, do you have overgrowth of bad bacteria in your gut that are causing that? It's possible. So if you feel like, ooh, now I can't get off this diet and I'm really restricted, then maybe doing some killers for bad bacteria. You could run kind of a GI map test that would tell you who's good in your gut, who's bad in your gut, how is the inflammation in the lining of your gut, how did you digest your food? It gives you all this information, and that would be an interesting thing to know. Let's see, what else? Amanda, is chronic hives caused by a gut issue? It can. Now, here's what I'll say. If you have hypermobility, like Ehlers-Danlos, you can get hives just because you have hypermobile joints. Okay, so that's fair. If you don't have that, and you're like, I'm not like that flexible, then you might have leaky gut, like a more severe form of leaky gut that can kind of open up, and then the foods go straight into your bloodstream, and you can get hives from ridiculous things. So we'd want to look at that and reseal the gut and then be able to kind of repair that gut if you have that. That's a blood test through Cyrex Labs, and it's not hard to run. It's about $230 to run that, so you know. Okay, Chloe has a 1 in 160 homogeneous speckled pericarditis, growing pain, arms and the legs and the arms and joint pain and stiffness. Okay, so yeah, you have something going on there, don't you? Have you been tested for, here's what I would do next. I would run an ENA panel. The ENA panel tells you if you are developing like lupus or something, right? So you've got anti-Smith, dsDNA, you have some markers in there that will tell you a little bit more specifics. I wonder if we need to do it just a little bit more. Are you on any kind of medication, Chloe, or anything like that? Or you could get on an anti-inflammatories to see if that helps. Get on glutathione, get off any food triggers. Jen, oh yeah, so the brands of glutathione I love Apex. Apex Energetics has a trisomal glutathione that is great. It's a liquid. I like the Designs for Health one that's liquid. I like Symbiotica is a good one, and Quicksilver is a good one. If you want a link for any of those, just give me your name and your email, and I'll just shoot you a link, and you can just order it. Because all of these are like professional grade supplements, and so don't let people just order them with anybody who wants to. You have to be recommended by a practitioner. So I just send out links because I think they should be more available, but that's just me. So let me know if you want some help. Okay. So Drea says, just tested positive ANA 1 in 80. I'm so scared because I have constant joint pain. Okay. So we need to think about food for you, Drea. This is a low number, but it's positive and you have symptoms. So we need to start getting on top of this. We got to figure out what's happening with food, what's triggering you. We got to figure out vitamin D. We might need to put you on glutathione. We want to figure out like what the triggers are. Like, did this start after you had a COVID infection? Did it start after you had the flu? Does somebody in your family have this? Because you want to really investigate, is this a little genetic for you? I'm doing my autoimmune shift program on Fridays, and it's lots of videos to learn lots and lots of things. It's just me making videos of things that I think you all need to know as good basics. And then lots of resources, how to read your labs, what do these things mean, what lab should I even get, diets that work, how do I get off of gluten, what does that look like, supplement links all the way through. So if you want links to all the different supplements as I'm talking about things, they're all there. And then an autoimmune support group on Fridays. It's $50 a month. If you want to join, just touch on my link tree, autoimmune shift. There's no funny business. You have to be in some crazy subscription or something like that. Just, you can cancel anytime you want, pop in, meet us. There's a group of people. We all are supportive of each other. And it's all on Zoom. So we can actually talk to you. It's nicer than just TikTok, right? Caroline, ways to regulate the nervous system. Okay, that's a lot of information. So we're thinking about calming your your nervous system down. So do you have a lot of stress? Do you have a lot of cortisol? Cortisol can get high and it can drive your sympathetic nervous system, your adrenaline, right? And make you feel anxious in fight or flight. So we want to get your nervous system to calm down. Sometimes it's about lowering the cortisol. Sometimes it's about getting out of the stressful environment. Sometimes it's about walking, and it's about moving your body, and it's about doing yoga and being calm. Okay, right? Fair. Meditation, yes. But also, if you feel like your cortisol's stuck, there's a cool supplement that I really like that's called Cortisol Manager that has magnolia root in it. It's got phosphatidylserine, and it degrades cortisol. Super helpful. I get patients to take that at night before they go to bed so their cortisol drops, and then their melatonin kicks in and they fall asleep better. That's helpful. So that's just things to think about. Chloe says, I'm in so much pain. All my labs were normal. I'm 19, seeing the rheumatologist. Okay, Chloe, if you see the rheumatologist and they have no thoughts and ideas of what you're supposed to do, let me know. I'm happy to support you. I'm happy to do a one-on-one with you. I'm happy to help you sort out your labs and get you started on like changing your diet, get you some links to some supplements. Let me know if I can help. There's lots of solutions out there, Chloe. I don't want you to feel freaked out. I just want, this is a symptom, something's going wrong. Let's figure out what happened. You're probably eating something that's triggering you. I don't know. What we need to make sure we're calming this down because you're young and we should be able to turn this around pretty quick. Okay. Drea says, what can I do before I get in with a rheumatologist? I want you to get on vitamin D. I want you to get on glutathione. I want you to start playing with food. I want you to maybe you take out gluten and dairy and see how it makes you feel. And maybe you see if you have issues with nightshades, like play with food and see what food is triggering you. If your blood sugar is running too high, we got to get it lower. If you want some support, come to me. I'm helpful. I can be helpful and support you. Okay. I mean, this is why I want to make this really inexpensive for everybody, because I want you all to be able to kind of go, hey, Darla, I went to my rheumatologist. They said this. What do you think? And I say, that's a bunch of BS. We're not doing that. Let's do the supplement instead, or whatever, right? Or yes, let's do that, and we're going to add the supplement to it. You know, like I have opinions about this stuff, so I'm happy to support you. Just let me know if you want some support, okay? Cheryl says, I have a lot of stress, no patience. You take lurasidone. Lurasidone, what is that? I don't even know what that. It's an OWN, so it's probably a cortisone. It's probably. Oh, it's an it's a psychiatric. Okay, for bipolar schizophrenia. Got it. Okay, so it helps to dial down your overstimulation. So here's what I would think about, Cheryl, is how's your blood sugar doing? Does your blood sugar get too high and too low? Because I tell you, like most of my patients that are like, I feel so stressed and I have no patience, their blood sugar is spiking and it's crashing. So here you have too much fuel, not enough fuel, too much fuel, not enough fuel. And it just rolls and rolls and rolls until you're like, I feel insane. So if I can get your blood sugar rolling in the middle, sometimes that's helpful. Getting way more protein in your diet, protein in every meal, fats at your meals. Like I want you to do eggs and butter. I want you to do avocado. I want you to do things that help stabilize your blood sugar. And I want you to do less carbs. Can you help that? I mean, sometimes when we have a lot of my patients that have bipolar, they have blood sugar regulation issues. Like I feel like their brain uses up a lot of sugar and then it doesn't use enough sugar. And they have like this like lack of fuel and too much fuel all the time. So have you ever thought about maybe doing a ketogenic diet, Cheryl? Ketones are a little more steady for the brain and they're anti-inflammatory. I just wonder if that would be helpful for you. Wouldn't hurt. Anyway, reach out if you want some support. I'm happy to help. Okay. What supplements would I suggest for idiopathic angioedema and urticaria? So hives popping up. So first I'm going to see if you have leaky gut, because you might. Second, I'm going to say quercetin can stabilize mast cells. That's something that you could take. You could take 2,000 milligrams of quercetin a day, quercetin. That can be helpful. And then trying to get to the root cause of why you're getting hives, okay? Because that's something I want to know. Okay, so Cody, always get your cortisol checked. Mine is too low. Yeah, ACTH and cortisol with autoimmune. So you can have autoimmunity towards your adrenal glands. It can move into actually something called Addison's disease. So that's something that can really happen. So you can have that. So getting your cortisol levels checked is good. Cortisol in your bloodstream can stay steady for a long time. You can see early cortisol changes in a saliva test. It's a little easier to test saliva. You can do it. It's a 4 times a day test, and you're looking at the curve of what's happening with your cortisol. So that's super helpful if you want some help with that. Okay, I have hypertension. I've changed my diet, exercise, lost weight, but nothing seems to work. Yeah, this is tricky, right? So have you added magnesium? How are you doing with your inflammation? If your ESR CRP is high, I wonder if you still have a little bit of like insulin resistance happening. Sometimes patients just come in where they've got some genetic high blood pressure, and sometimes we can change it, sometimes we can't. If you can't change it through supplements, we have to stay on a medication because we have to keep your blood pressure low. We can't let it go high because it damages the inside of the blood vessels. So try some magnesium if that's helpful. You could do a couple in the morning and a couple in the afternoon, maybe some magnesium glycinate might be helpful. Why does hypermobility activate the immune system? That is such a really good question. So hypermobility is interesting. It comes in like a triad of things. It's like you've got autoimmune tendencies, you've got mast cell issues, and then you've got hypermobility. And it all is how the tissue is kind of woven together more loosely. And I don't know why you get autoimmune conditions. It's just something that we always look for. And I don't know the mechanism behind it. It's really wild, isn't it? Thorne is a good company too. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Glutathione SR made by Thorne is a good one. Yes, that is a good one. Cheryl, diabetic. Yes. Okay. We need to try to get you out of having diabetes. Do you need some support around that? I'm trying to figure that out. I have a really cool nutritionist in my office. Her name is Lisa Cross, and her website is crossintowellness.com. She nails down diabetes and really works with the CGM, the blood sugar monitor, shift your diet and get you out of having diabetes unless you have type 1, right? Of course, that's hard to fix. But if you want some support, Cheryl, I can connect you up with her. That's not hard. Sweetie, thank you. That's so nice. I love doing these guys. I wish I could do this all day. It's super fun. What else? Trying to figure out if it is a reaction to foods. Yes, it can be a big reaction to foods, right? And Thorne is a good company. Yes, Thorne is an awesome company. And also you Seeking Health, that's a great company. And Andrea takes quercetin. You also take Dupixent. Good, great, perfect. I love it. You guys are crushing it. Jessica says, I'm dealing with constant bloating and gas pains. I've taken a lot of antibiotics in the past. You might have some leaky gut. You diverticulitis flares. Okay, if you have diverticulitis, we got to get a lot more fiber in you, a lot more veggies. We probably need to get you on something called tributrin. It's a short chain fatty acid. It's got acetate, butyrate, propionate, and it helps to seal the gut lining. It helps to feed the good bacteria in your gut. So I wouldn't do digestive enzymes unless you really need them, unless you feel like if you get bloating, you might have overgrowth of bad bacteria that needs to get killed off and undergrowth of good bacteria, maybe. We want to think about that. We can do a test. We can do a GI map test, Jessica. You could do a poop test, send it in and see what's in there, right? GI map is pretty awesome. I'm super happy to help, Drea. And yeah, you guys, I'm glad you guys popped on. What does it mean if you have allergy symptoms 24/7? Yeah, something, you've got something that's flaring you, right? You've got something that's keeping you going in this allergic reaction. Is it foods? Have you been to an allergist to actually see what your allergies are? Like your IgE allergies? What are they? I wonder if you've got do you have mold in your house? Do you have something environmental happening? Are you living with cats and dogs and you're really allergic to cats and dogs? Do you have bad hay fever things? We got to figure that out because it's really draining your immune system and it can make you really exhausted. So anyway, guys, I'm going to just answer a couple more questions and then I got a boogie because I got to make some dinner. I have EBV. Yes, Epstein-Barr. Most people have Epstein-Barr, and it depends if you get your immune system run down, you can reactivate, right? Leaky gut, we take tributrin. Oh, tributrin, TRIBUTRYN, tributrin. You could also get butyrate, BUTYRATE. If you want a link, just send me your name and your email and say, I want the tributrin link, and I'll send it to you. Okay. That's not hard. I'm in Los Gatos, California. I'm up by San Jose. And you're in Los Angeles. Good. We're California gals. The weather's been great, hasn't it? The rest of you guys are freezing. So bad. It's so bad. Hopefully you guys are recovering from all that coldness. So yeah, if you want to ever do like a consultation, I do Zooms, I do one-on-ones, I do a group autoimmune shift group, autoimmune support group. Reach out if you want some help. And then one more, let's see, I have just a couple more questions. Positive ANA speckled panther, but no positive markers, negative Smith, negative dsDNA, rheumatoid, Sjogren's, etc. Okay, so here's the thing. You have a marker, but you have no disease. You have 5 to 10 years of just kind of probably nothing's going to happen, but then something could happen. That's where I go, let's get serious about this. If you have no symptoms and you have a positive ANA speckled and it doesn't move, great. That might stay like that forever, right? But if you have some symptoms and you have a positive ANA and nothing specific, you could be growing that. So this is the window of time that we want to act. It's the window of time that we can change and shift and turn your immune system and make it different, okay? We can cut down the triggers. We can calm it down. We can reduce the inflammation. We can do all that. We just have to know like what is happening, okay? So don't wait. Keep digging, okay? My daughter had like a positive ANA lupus markers, and I'm like, oh, no, you don't. No. So I made this whole program all about her. Like this is all the stuff we worked on. This is all the stuff that changed it. She's now 1 in 80 homogeneous, and her lupus specific markers went away. So and she doesn't have any symptoms, except for she does get a butterfly rash in the sun. So I'm on her business, man. She's 26. She deals with me. She's happy. She's compliant because she's feeling good. Okay, Cheryl says I have high white blood cells, but I have no spleen. Yeah, your immune system is a little bit more deficient without a spleen, right? It does affect your immune system when you have no spleen, but we can still help your immune system. We can still support it. All is not lost there. What could cause lupus, RA, and Sjogren's, please? My niece is down to 6 stone, need guidance. Okay. She's got to do, you know what I would do? I would get her on an autoimmune paleo diet like it's your job. Look up autoimmune paleo on chat and say, make me a 7-day meal plan for autoimmune paleo diet for my daughter, and do it. And get her immune system calmed down from food. Get her on vitamin D, 5,000 IUs every day. Get her on some liquid glutathione. Start there, because we need to get her figured out, because you're starting to get into scary town, okay? We got to be really careful with all this stuff. So we take all this very seriously. I want to make sure that you guys are getting supported and know that there's support out there, right? How do I spell that, Max? Oh, AIP, autoimmune paleo, AIP diet, plus vitamin D, 5,000 IUs. I can send you a link if you would need one. And then glutathione, Gluta, GLUTA, THIONE. Get on a liquid glutathione every day, maybe like, just some each day. And then we need to figure out what's going on with her. Does she have leaky gut? Did this start from COVID? Does she have blood sugar issues? Like, we got to get to the core of it. I mean, I can give you guys, these are patches, right? We're patching it up. Then we got to dig deeper and figure out what's going on. Okay. Okay. So if you guys have questions, more specific questions, if you want supplement links, if you want links to get Quest labs done, if you want links to get Cyrex labs done, if you need support, if you want to get in my autoimmune support group, come on over. There's only like 6 of us in there right now. So it's great. Everyone's just getting sort of a one-on-one consultation, right? And we're just getting to know each other and figuring out who's triggered by what and what's working. And then you're in community with me, and you're in communication with me every single week. So it's a nice like accountability partner too, because as we're changing stuff, it's nice to have support, because it's a whole group of people who all have what you have, which is super fun to develop a really nice support group. So I hope you guys join me. I'm super happy that you guys popped on this live. I'll probably pop back on a live on Thursday. I'm late with patients tomorrow, so I probably won't do it tomorrow, but I'll probably be back on Thursday and Friday. I'm super happy that you guys popped on. You had great questions. And I really want you guys to keep popping on, okay? Send me messages if you want some support, okay? We'll see you guys so soon.